Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 summer scents that will have you smelling better than the average Joe. Peasant. Now if you are the average Joe, I'm just playing, you're not a peasant, you're cool. I still love you. If you want to wear Nautica Voyage all summer, knock yourself out. I mean, realistically, if you're wearing Nautica Voyage, you're doing better than a lot of guys out there. But these are going to be fragrances that have just amazing openings, fantastic smelling scents that when you get a whiff of these, you're like, that's quality. Or at least you should be like that. I don't know if you do the whole snap thing, but you'll be like, no, it smells really nice. Actually, I don't know if you'll do that whole snap thing. That'd actually be kind of weird in public probably. But if you smell them, you'll still think they smell great. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. And today's video is sponsored by ScentSplit.com. ScentSplit.com. And there's also a link in the description to each one of these fragrances at ScentSplit. In case you're unaware of what ScentSplit is, it is a website where you can buy decants, samples, whatever you want to call it, of a bunch of different fragrances, a whole mess of fragrances on that website. Now, why would you want to buy decants or samples? So you know if you like the fragrance or not before you buy the full bottle. Or I guess you could also buy them to take on vacation or something like that. You know, a little travel size, you can do that too. So if you ever want to buy samples, decants, whatever, check out ScentSplit. Like I said, link in the description to the website and each one of these scents. All right, let's get things started with probably the most common fragrance out of all these here. It's still not what I consider an average Joe fragrance because really the average Joe, you know, your typical dude out there, you're not wearing niche fragrances. This one is from Mancera. It's Citrapoise. It's got lemon, blackcurrant, cedar, and leather as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one, of course, gets compared to Creed's Aventus. It's one of the many fragrances out there that does get compared to Aventus. Now, if you smell this side by side with Aventus, it's not the exact same. It's not a one-to-one. It's just one of those fragrances that maybe has some elements of Creed Aventus. This one's very fruity, so it's got a lot of sweetness in here, especially off the top. The blackcurrant gives you a little bit of tartness, but really more on the sweet side of things. And when I say sweet, I don't mean it in an overbearing way. I actually think it smells very nice. Cedar and leather in here does give it some longevity, some depth as it dries down. Doesn't have that smokiness though that you'll find in Aventus at all. All right, next up we got one from Frappant and it's Humaniste. I can't really pronounce that very well. That's the good old American style of French, Humaniste. It's like I'm trying but not really succeeding. This has one of my favorite openings of all time, so much so that I'm gonna spray it right now just so I can smell it. Yeah, that's awesome. It's got citrus, gin, juniper, and really those are kind of almost interchangeable, gin and juniper, but has both of those notes in here, along with a fresh cardamom in here as well. It gives it a little pop of spiciness. So the reason I say that juniper and gin are interchangeable is juniper is one of the main botanicals used in the creation of gin. So a lot of times juniper in a gin accord in fragrances is gonna be the main thing you pull from it. So how does that all combine together here? The citrus, the juniper, the gin. It combines to make a fragrance that is enormously bright and sparkling off the top. It's got sweetness, but not overly done. It is extremely fresh, uplifting. It's a fantastic smelling fragrance. The problem with this one is the performance. Now, I can forgive that because it smells so good in the opening. I don't really overly care. It's like, you treated me so well at the beginning that I don't care that you left. I'm just happy that we had that time together. It's that kind of deal. But then it's gone and you kind of miss it. So then you just grab it and spray it again. This next fragrance, I don't actually own a full bottle of. I just have a decant. But it'll do. And you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna spray this one too. Wow, this little hairspray atomizer is really good. Now you may not be able to tell what this is. It's Atelier Cologne Orange Sanguine. And this fragrance, for the longest time, was the go-to fragrance to recommend to people when they said, I'm looking for a fragrance with an extremely realistic orange note. It was really popular for a while. It came out, I believe, about 10 years ago, 2011. And for a long time, people would just say, yeah, orange sanguine, get that one, fantastic citrus opening, amazing citrus opening, one of the best you can find. That's what people would say about it. And then its popularity just shot up, and then over time, went back down. It's got blood orange, it's got sandalwood, it's got geranium, like a lot of Atelier colognes. The performance is, again, not amazing. But if you want an orange-centric fragrance for summer, and you want one that is just as realistic as you can get, as far as being a juicy orange opening, this is what you need to smell. Unfortunately, that citrus doesn't last through the entirety of the fragrance's lifespan, but while it's there, really good. And you know, we're gonna keep that citrus train rolling. That's what we're gonna do. Next up is Aqua Viva from Profumum Roma. And this is another house that I feel like got a good amount of hype for a while and then just kind of stopped as far as the hype goes. But people in the know still know. And this house makes some of the most powerful, longest lasting citrus fragrances you're ever gonna smell. And this one right here is one of them. This has an Amalfi lemon note that will last and last and last. And it projects very well. You've also got some cypress in here, you've got some cedar, so as it dries down, you get this woody touch to the scent, but really it's all about that lemon. It comes across kind of creamy, so it's not the type of lemon that's going to be really bright and astringent. It's more a creamy, sweet, dense lemon. Now I know you see the name Aqua Viva, and maybe you think it's gonna be very aquatic, very watery. Not a ton. Fresh, yes, fantastic for summer. But like I said, more of a concentration on the lemon, and as it dries down, some woods. So we've kind of hopped from one fragrance that is great if you want orange, a good amount of orange, and then another one that's great if you want a good amount of lemon. And then the Frappan here, great if you just want a bright, sparkling citrus. We've hit a trifecta of citrus fragrances. This last fragrance is my favorite Xerjoff for summer. I think quality-wise, it is through the roof. It is Neo. And this is an old style bottle. If you buy it new nowadays, it's going to come in a bottle that looks like this. So, a little bit different. This one has neroli, it's got green notes, it has vetiver, and citrus-wise, it's got bergamot. So we've gone orange, lemon, bergamot. As I mentioned with the notes here, bergamot, neroli, green notes. So it's gonna give you a very fresh, very clean green opening. Neroli, of course, a white floral note that gives kind of a citrus feeling, a citrus undertone, melds perfectly with the bergamot in the opening. This one is one of my favorite summer fragrances ever. And probably my favorite Xerjoff, probably. Don't hold me to that. Like some of these fragrances, could the performance be maybe a little bit better? Yeah, I'd like it to last a little longer, maybe project a little further, but I'm not gonna knock it for that. Because it gives you such a realistic, natural interpretation of some of the main notes in the fragrance that, I'm just gonna let it slide. Because like every other fragrance in this list, if I wanna wear more of it, I'm gonna wear more of it. I know nobody around me is gonna smell it and be offended. What is that? Are you wearing citrus and neroli? In a highly realistic and very high quality manner. Yeah, I was gonna be offended, but actually now that I think about it, you can spray it on some more if you want. So if you want a fragrance that has a bergamot concentration, that's very clean, like I said, fresh with a green undertone that is completely inoffensive, check this out. This is one of the best on the market, period. For me, for the longest time, if I wanted a really high quality bergamot scent, I would go with that one and Bergamot 22. By Le Labo. Those were kind of my go-tos. Now, obviously, I'm not saying those are the only high-quality bergamot fragrances out there. There are a ton. It's just those are some of the ones that really spoke to me, you could say. So there we go. 5 different fragrances that are fantastic for summer, fantastic for high heat, and really, you could pull these off in spring or early fall as well. That will set you apart from the average Joe. And like I said earlier, if you are the average Joe, if you're wearing Nautica Voyage, if you're wearing Dior Sauvage, whatever, that's okay. If you like the way you smell, that's all that matters. And again, a shout out to ScentSplit.com for sponsoring the video. Link in the description to ScentSplit, and also all these fragrances at ScentSplit. If you want to buy a decant, if you want to buy a sample, go to ScentSplit.com. I should come up with some kind of jingle for them or something. All right, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.